Today, I have with me members of Abby K. And I have Abby K with me, and I also have Diego Vargas, your guitar player in the band. Uh, Abby is a bassist, a vocalist, a songwriter,
Yes.
uh, out of Charlotte, North Carolina, but only for 16 more days.
Yes.
uh, she was also one of three bassists to attend the Grammy camp in 2018 and has recorded or performed with industry professionals like producer Eddie Z, Tesla's Troy Luccketta, members of Red Sun Rising, and maybe most importantly, guitarist Nita Strauss from Alice Cooper's band.
Man, you did
Well,
your research.
oh, absolutely. You just wait. Um, yeah, and we definitely want to talk about that experience with Nita. And on September 10th, Abby K, they have just released their new single "Because of You," and a cool new video. And I want to talk about that too. The videos, you guys have a pretty good amount of video out there, and it's really well done. Now, I know videos can be pretty expensive to do and tedious, playing the song 800, 900, 10,000 times.
Yeah.
That is not something every band wants to do, but you guys look so comfortable doing it. Tell me about doing the video for Because of You, and what you guys think of videos in general.
So, funny story. A lot of people are saying that Because of You is our best video yet. And, like, typically for a video, we have the concept months in advance. We get costumes, we get props, we get locations scheduled and booked. And no, we did none of that for Because of You. We were like, we actually had no idea for it at all until about maybe half an hour before the videographer was supposed to come. And um, I mean, we were just out here. We were just gonna play through the song a few times. It was gonna be pretty boring, not gonna lie. And I was like, hold on, I have a concept for this now. And Diego, he was visiting a friend and he came home and I was like, hey Diego, we're gonna move the recliner in here. We're gonna put my dad in the video. We just got a vinyl that has the album cover on it. We're doing all this stuff.
I'm
Um,
pretty sure I found out what the idea was like half an hour before we started recording. Like as soon as I pulled into the driveway, she's like, "I got an idea." And I'm like, "Oh,
yeah.
okay." I'm good on my feet, but what's going on?
Yeah, and so I think it's just like kind of ironic that this is the video that we put the least amount of effort and preparation into, and people are saying that this is their favorite one. And I think like this video is kind of sentimental because the video concept is not the same as the song concept. But in the video, that is actually my dad, and this right here is my studio that I come to every single day and work in. And I'm leaving for Nashville in 16 days, and my dad might miss me a little bit. And so
Yeah,
it's kind of like, I don't know, my mom cried when she watched the video, to put it that way. She was like,
wow.
that is going to be your daddy every single night because he's going to miss you, and he's going to go out to the studio, sit in his recliner, and fall asleep listening to your music. So I think it's a really sweet video.
Yeah, I think so too. And I have a girl myself, and I he's gonna miss you. Let me tell you, I know he will. Yeah, that's and I watch it now with that in mind, and it's gonna mean even more to me. So yeah, it's a fun video though. It really is. And Diego with the solo, you're looking good, my friend.
Thank you,
That's a killer solo.
That's why he's
thank
in
you.
the band.
Yeah.
Only that. I look good playing a solo sometimes, and I just mess around.
Sometimes.
I'm out.
I want to start from the beginning with you, Abby. You're 18 years old now, I think, right?
Yes.
Um, you see Gene Simmons at 13 years old, and you want to pick up a bass. Um, at 13 years old, you also are in your first band. So the timeline is killing me. Even if it was January of your 13th year that you picked it up, and you're in a band less than a year, later. How does one learn an instrument that quickly? Uh, how do you do that?
So actually, we really summarize that story because it's just such a confusing story to tell. But actually, after I was inspired to pick up an instrument, I went to guitar first because that's all that we had in the house. And so after about 6 months of playing, I think I knew how to play Crazy Train and Smoke on the Water, and that's it. I went to be in a band, and there's an interstate here that's like you can sometimes be an hour to go 10 miles. Like, it's terrible. So we were very, very, very late to my first band rehearsal as a guitarist. And so I actually got there when the next band was coming in, and they were like, hey, do you play bass? And I was 13. I was like, no, what's a bass? Um, I just thought it was like a weird looking guitar. And so I put on a bass and man, it was so weird. I just knew exactly what I was doing. Like it was just such a natural thing. Um, so yeah, actually my first day playing bass, I was in a band.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Did it go for like that for you, Diego?
Uh,
Probably not, huh?
no, right when I started off, it was just straight into guitar. How did that start? Do you want my whole life story or just the first band?
Just that start where you
Start.
pick up a guitar. How long is it before you're actually, starting to make sound that you're happy with?
I'm still working on that today, but kind of like a similar story to Abby when where it's like for her was Gene Simmons. For me, I was just on YouTube one day, and on the sidebar there was recommended "Welcome to the Jungle" by Guns N' Roses. I'm like, okay, I'm a dumb kid. I don't know what I'm doing. I click on it, and it was just like mind blowing, pupils widening, adrenaline rush. Like that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I badgered my parents for months. Like, hey, I want a guitar. I want a guitar. And they're like, fine, he's not going to stick with it. And now I'm 10 years later playing in bands.
It's pretty great. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, and it sounds great the way you guys collaborate and everything. It's just you're really on the same page, and it's pretty evident watching it for sure.
It helps
Um,
when you're like, I don't know, Diego's like my brother. That happened recently. Well, actually, Diego lives in California and he came to stay here for 6 weeks. So after that, I mean, you can't not be siblings.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that definitely helps the music too.
yeah,
At the bare
yeah.
minimum, we have to tolerate each other.
Hmm. Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a gelling. It's a chemistry, and you either have it or you don't. And you guys definitely have it for sure. It's pretty obvious. Um, Abby, you're singing. You're playing bass. You're not singing at first.
Hmm.
You decide to take over the vocals. If you want to get it done right, you do it yourself. I know professional musicians that play in bands we've all heard of that they sing and play, and they tell me it's a struggle. It's not easy for a lot of great players even to do. Was it difficult for you, or did you like the bass? Did you just start singing and playing at the same time, and that's natural too?
So I think a good way to put this is if you want me to do math or science, I cannot do it. But if you want me to do anything language or arts related, no problem. So I mean, I think that's also kind of why when I picked up a bass, I just kind of knew what to do. Um, it just came natural to me. I had no issues with it, and I was
Wow.
actually surprised when people started asking me, "Is that hard to play and sing at the same time?" I was like, "No, is it supposed to be?" So I
It
mean, I'm
is.
very thankful.
Yes.
I'm very thankful that I have that I guess natural talent to kind of do that at the same time. But I mean, you give me math homework, I'm not going to do it.
Diego, you sing and play? Do you do that at all?
I'm working on it, but I'm the exact opposite where it's just a constant struggle where there's times where I can barely talk and play guitar at the same time because I'm just so into what I'm playing on guitar that if I have to talk, I'm just like, blah, blah, I can't, the wires cross, it's just everything crashes.
No doubt. I mean, this doesn't do anything at the same time. One thing at a time, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just a natural ability is tremendous. Um, the Grammy camp. I want to talk a little bit about that. 80 people out of a pool of 1,500, and only one of three bassists. That's a big privilege to go to something like that. USC. What's the most valuable takeaway from an experience like that for you?
So I think Grammy Camp not only transformed me as a musician, but also a person and the way that I thought about the music industry. Before that, I always just wanted to be a hired gun bassist and I wanted to play for somebody else. I had no interest in singing, no interest in songwriting. And after it was 5 days, after those 5 days, I came home, I wrote a song, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be Abby K. Um, and really, I don't know. I mean, I started writing songs and singing, and I think because of that, it's given me many more opportunities. Because now, people always say nobody's going to work harder for you than yourself. So now I'm not depending on somebody else to work hard, and it's all up to me. So if I want to move to Nashville at 18 and make a living playing music, it's up to me. And I kind of have that control if I want to make something out of that now. And I think I would have really struggled not having that as a hired gun. So I'm glad I figured that out at 16 and not like 60.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So is it the same that feeling for you, Diego? Is it the same? I always ask younger people, and I've talked to a lot of young people like yourself who are going into this. The odds are against you. No matter how great of a player you are, or who you have standing behind you, the odds are against that success to make a living. It's difficult. But I always ask, do you have a plan B? And most people tell me no. It's that's what they're doing. It's very focused. What about you guys? Is there a plan B? What if this doesn't work out for you?
Absolutely not. And I heard that from Anthony Wellington. I took a few bass lessons from him, and that's kind of like probably my junior year of high school and thinking about college and a fallback plan. And of course, my parents probably would have been okay if I had a degree in something, which I don't. I'm not going to college. I do have an associate's degree, but I finished that in high school. But Anthony Wellington said something that really stuck with me. If you have a plan B, you're going to have to use it because you have to fully believe that your art is going to make something out of yourself. And if you don't fully believe that and have a backup plan, you're going to need that backup plan.
Yeah, and I
So I
would.
think
Yeah.
like having no plan B, I mean, this is my only option. So
Mhm.
I have to make it work.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. If you're thinking about a plan B, you're not thinking enough about plan A.
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, and it's great to see that because I know you're full in, and
Yeah.
you're putting your heart and soul into these songs and these videos and things like that.
Mhm.
You because you don't have a choice; it's your livelihood,
Yeah.
and that's great to know. And it's obvious. It becomes obvious for sure. I want to get into your writing process. I know Abby, you write songs, which I really, really admire because there's especially a lot of younger people are depending on writers to write songs for them, and they use those songs, and because it's not easy to write a song.
Yeah.
So out of all the things you do, I really, really respect that. What is the writing process for you guys as a group? Is there one writer? Do you write collaboratively? And what is the biggest change for you from the first song you wrote to the newest single, Because of You?
Well, I think first of all, it should have been me. That's a pop song. I can call it a rock song. It's not. It's a pop song. And then Because of You, and even what we have written that's coming after this, it's so heavy. And I think, I did figure some of it out on my own. Um, no, not pay attention. It should have been me to pay attention in that order. Those were pretty much all me writing. And then I started involving Diego a little bit more in the process. And then, a lot of my influences are Iron Maiden, Lita Ford, and then more modern, having Hailstorm. And then Diego just brought in some completely new influences that I had never had before. And I'll let him tell you about them. But I mean, I think it really just we're starting to figure out our sound, and that makes me really happy, and it just keeps getting heavier.
Welcome.
I like that. No doubt. I listen to everything, and I love pop music, but I grew up in a classic rock, hard rock, metal thing. And that's I love when that goes that direction.
Yeah.
Diego, what are some of those bands Abby was talking about?
A lot of like thrash and prog stuff, because growing up, especially in middle school and high school, I was a lot of, around a lot of the band kids, so I was introduced a lot of jazz, classical, funk, fusion, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of them would show me oh, they're jazz guys, but they'll show me Anthrax. Recently I got into the band Havoc. I love them. They're just big four thrash, but just heavier.
Yep.
Just getting just all this stuff that if I came to Abby with a straight riff, she'd be like, "No, you're out of the band." but it does kind of leak its own way in, where it's we'll be doing something, and then I'll get real excited, and I'll add my own flair to it. She'll be like, "That's cool, keep going," and then we come out with the super heavy song.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. That's great. I love it. And I love collaboration too. I think it really adds to chemistry. I mean, there's some people that just write by themselves very well, and they have their bands, and that's great. But I think the collaborative writing adds something to a band. It adds a certain magic. Now, Abby, you've worked with the great Eddie Z there in Charlotte at the Playroom, and I just talked with another great singer player, Jen from Diamonds and Whiskey, who has worked with Eddie Z, and we actually did the interview from the Playroom. It was really cool. Just a great place. This latest single you recorded at Troy Lucketta's studio. Yeah. Did Troy produce the song or do anything for you with the song? And what is the biggest difference between the Playroom and Troy's studio?
So Troy played drums on this, and he produced it as well. And so I think what the biggest difference would be is Eddie Z, he is a great producer. But Troy Luccketta, he has been on the other side of it as a musician so much that, we went in with 3 songs and we came out with 3 completely different songs, because I think his experience as a musician really benefited us to really I don't know. It made everything so much better. He was like, hold on, here's an idea. And I think that really helped also kind of just smooth over the production side of it too, because we already kind of had this great product and there wasn't much work to be done on the production side.
Yeah. Would you agree with that, Diego, being in that studio with Troy?
With the Troy part, I definitely agree. I can't say much with Eddie Z because before I was in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely really, really fascinating to, be in there recording with Troy. And I remember there was a time where we were just kind of coming up with little auxiliary guitar parts. And he's a drummer, but he's like, oh, I hear this idea, try it out. And it's just us kind of spitballing ideas. It was really, really fun.
Yeah.
So it was definitely, it was
definitely learned a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's brilliant. All those Tesla guys are crazy great. He's a drummer. He played on the track, which is a huge honor. That's just fantastic. Abby K, the Abby K drummer. Is there one? Is there going to be one? What's that situation?
There is an Abby K drummer. His name is Zach Gullidge. We haven't officially announced him in the band, but if you pay attention
You
to our
have now.
Yeah.
if you paid attention to our social medias, you probably already know that. Um, so we met Zach on the side of the road. We didn't actually, but we're telling everybody that. No, we auditioned lots and lots of drummers this past summer, and we just could not find the right one. And then Zach came into the picture, and we were like, "Hey, you want to be our drummer?"
It's pretty
So
cool. It's pretty
yeah, it's
cool.
it's been good. And he kind of has that same dynamic where, I mean, I'm a girl, but we're like the three of us are brothers. We're bros. And like, I don't know, the three of us, we were staying at my house, what, like 2 weeks ago, and like I would just go and wake them up, and we would just start joking around. So the three of us, we get along really well.
That's great. That's awesome. Um, the press release says you did 3 songs. You just said you did 3 songs at Troy's studio, 3 totally different songs.
Mhm.
How do you plan to release that? Are we going to get a full Abby K record, or are we going to get 2 more singles? Yeah,
So
so wondering.
because of you, that was the second song that we did at Troy's. Dodging a Bullet, I Swear. That came out back
Okay.
in June, I believe. That
Mhm.
was the first song we did with him. And then we have another song. We were gonna release it as a single, but we wrote something like 2 weeks ago when they were here, and we just went ahead and recorded that. And man, it's so heavy. I love it so much. So I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do for a release plan for singles, and then we are working towards an album, but that'll probably be later next year. For now, though, we're working on getting a Halloween song out and then maybe a Christmas song.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Now the Halloween song for this year, that's coming right up, isn't it?
Yes.
That's pretty
Yes,
cool.
you need to get on that.
Now you guys writing that together, Diego? Yeah.
So we're actually gonna do a cover for Halloween, and then for Christmas, no promises because we haven't started trying yet, but we might try to write an original Christmas song.
That's awesome. That is
Diego,
really
should we
cool.
tell them what song we're doing for Halloween?
Halloween. So we're announcing it. We're letting people know.
Yeah, should we?
I think we should. I think it'd be fine. I think we should build some hype.
I'll let you do.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're covering the best metal band of all time, GWAR. The song "Sick of You."
Yes.
Oh, and my dad is singing it.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Oh, that is awesome.
it's
That
gonna
is
be fun.
way cool.
the one bad thing is that we can't go full costume, full odorous Urungus, all that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so cool. Yeah, what a band to cover too. For Halloween. That's great. You mentioned your dad, Abby. Now he's kind of a lot of the reason you're doing this, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. A big classic rock, hard rock guy.
Yes, he's the reason that I got into Kiss and Alice Cooper and Iron Maiden, of course. Yeah, man, yeah, I have to owe it all to him. Um, yeah, for sure. And so, do you know the story of how I got into music, like besides the Kiss concert? Because that was way later in my life.
No,
Okay,
let's hear it.
so it's kind of embarrassing for me, but it's okay. So I would ask my dad for like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber and Kids Bop songs to
good
be put
stuff.
on my
Good stuff.
iPod.
Of
It is good
course.
stuff, okay? And he would give it to me, and then he would also sneak on some Iron Maiden and Metallica, Alice Cooper. And I was probably 5 at the time. I didn't know how to take it off of there. So I just listened to it. He did the same thing for my sister. She was very unhappy about it. She found a way to get it off of her iPod. I did not. So I was forced to listen to it, and I learned to love it.
That's way cool. That's way cool. I used to make things for the kids like that too. I have a son and a daughter, and my son ended up, with a music education degree. So
Oh, that's awesome.
It it works. It's a good method for all you dads and moms out there too. Sprinkle a little rock and roll in there.
Yeah.
It'll do it. um I see all the videos, all the songs that are out there for you. There's quite a few. But I saw one. It's Rock and Roll Party in the Street. And that's a band called Axe, and that's more my generation, you might say. It's back in the day, early 80s there. Respect level went way high, I gotta tell you. It was high already. I was like, wow, that's knowing your stuff. Are you someone that explores a lot of older music and looks back, or is that a thing that you like to do?
Um, Diego, what are you doing?
I'm hanging out. I'm hanging out with his name is Sam Ramy, the possessed ram skull.
Okay. Anyways, so I do like to get into like more obscure music, but honestly, I don't do enough of it. And the reason why I covered Rock and Roll Party in the Streets, that was actually my first favorite song. Also because of my dad.
Awesome.
I remember like I don't know, maybe I was 6 or 7, just jamming out to that song in the car, to the point where I was a gymnast for 10 years, and you get to a level where you get to choose your own floor music, and I like begged for that to be my floor music. Didn't happen, but man, I so badly just wanted that to be my floor routine. But yeah, that was my first favorite song, and I think like I was so used to that song that it actually surprised me when now people have said, "Oh, what's this song by Axe on this EP?" Or, "Man, you know that song?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course I know that song.
It's really cool. It's really cool. Hey, Diego, do you go back? Do you listen to a lot of older stuff? Stuff 70s, 80s, 90s even?
Oh, oh, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I think one of my favorite records, like just like from that era, would have to be what what's the full name? Richie Blackmore's Rainbow.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
Stargaze and all that. Good stuff.
yes. Yeah. Rainbow Rising, one of my favorite
Yeah,
records. Yeah. Yeah.
good stuff.
So yeah, I mean, and I think it's great that you guys do a little bit of that, and it works its way into your music, whether you want it to or not. I think just from hearing those different melodies and the way they play is a little bit different. So we're gonna hear a little bit of that coming out for sure. um Now, I just spoke with Mike Prodich from Red Sun Rising, and you
Yeah.
worked with Pat and Dave
Mhm.
from the band on It Should Have Been Me, that pop song. um, if you worked with Eddie Z, you've worked with Nita, and been around these industry professionals who are great at what they do. And they know they've been around it for years and they know the ins and outs. What's the most constructive thing that you've taken away from working with these people?
Oh man. The thing is, I've learned a different thing from each person. Um, oh man, I don't know. That's a hard question. I will say, Pat Jarasia, um, he played drums on It Should Have Been Me, Dirty Love, I Thought That I Loved You, and Pay Attention. And I've also played 3 or 4 live shows with him as my drummer. And I had no idea a band could sound as good as it did until Pat Jarasia played drums for me. And man, I just remember thinking the first song that we played together, I was like, whoa, I actually I just could feel where it was going, and that had never really happened before because
Mhm.
I was just in like a high school band at that point. And man, playing with Pat and Dave for the first time, I was like, wow, this just, it feels right. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like I say, that's a chemistry kind of thing where, it's special. It's magic. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
um, Nita, let's talk about Nita. You opened a few shows for Nita,
Yes.
and she has, been a great friend to you. So yeah, I mean, how special is that? And what's the best piece of advice that she gave you?
Oh my gosh, Nita Strauss, best female role model. If there's any female musicians watching this, Nita Strauss needs to be your role model. Just seriously, she's the most.
She's my role model too.
Yeah. Seriously, she's incredible. I mean, and as a guitar player, she's phenomenal.
Oh,
But as a person as well, and that's
Yeah,
always great to see.
she's just the most down to earth, humble human being. And that's really easy to fake. But after opening for her and talking to her on many occasions, it's not. She is just a genuinely great person. And there was a time, actually a few months ago, I was really struggling with where I was at in my career, and I first thing I did was I reached out to her, and she was like, "This is too much to text. Hold on, let me get on a Zoom call." And I mean, the fact that she would take that time out of her day,
Absolutely.
that's a special role model right there. Um, yeah, she's just always been very supportive of me. And actually, the first time I opened for her, I just turned 16, like a day before. And after the show, she had her tech bring me out to her tour bus. I was like, "What? You're joking, right?" And I mean, she just, she told me never give up and play fearlessly. I have three things on my wall that she just gave me and signed. And I mean, anybody can say never give up, but it just meant so much more coming from her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a pure, genuine friend, a
Yeah.
warm human being, and that's,
Mhm.
we all need that for sure. That's
Yeah.
it's pretty great. Now I got to get a little bit creepy on you. We're gonna go back to Thanksgiving dinner 2018. Here I am in the window. A relative says to you, it's a phase. You're gonna grow out of it, right? Um, it's obviously more than that. Um, is it does that stick with you? Does that inspire you to work harder, or is that something that you just you hear and you expect it?
Well, first things first, I have a song called Rock the Rock, and that was
Yeah.
pretty much based around that. There were a few things that inspired that song, but yeah, I was at a family dinner, and it was somebody's friend that was there. It wasn't actually a relative of mine, and I said I was going. This was back when I was actually going to go to college and get a degree in music, and like I was getting a degree. That's good, people.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, don't go for music because you're gonna grow out of that." I was like, "Watch." Um, yeah, man, and especially being an 18-year-old female, or even before that, I started professionally at 16. A lot of people are gonna tell you no, and I've just kind of made it my goal to prove them wrong. And I'm not doing it for them, I'm doing it for me. But it does kind of help knowing that somebody told me that, oh no, you're never going to be able to do that. And then I do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what
Kind
I
of
was wondering is because now I mean we got a lot of keyboard cowboys and the negative stuff, and
Mhm.
you hear a lot of stuff that's not what you want to hear, and a lot of it just people can just let everything roll off, or
Yeah.
they use it for ammunition, or they get depressed and go into hiding, which is a really awful thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, all this stuff's ammunition for you, and that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Definitely. You mentioned just playing, not singing when you first started.
Mhm.
If you play bass, you sing, you write songs. If you were paid well to do only one of those things, uh, which would it be?
Bass. So
Bass. That's
everyone's
it.
like, I'm the singer of Abby K and I play bass too. No, 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 no. I am the bassist of Abby K and I sing too. I was a bassist first. Bass is more fun for me. And Man, I've had to work very hard on singing. I did not start off as a good singer at all. Like, man, ask the people at my church. I was the worst one. So I've done voice lessons every week for 3 or 4 years. So yeah, bass, that's just always come natural to me. And my bass is my best friend, so of course I would pick bass.
That's cool. That's cool. Even when the guy comes in and says, we love the way you write songs. We want you to write songs and do nothing else. Just sit and write songs. That's not good for you. You gotta pick up that bass, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How about Diego? How about that? If if you're given a choice to, like, because you write yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's to write for somebody else. Is that something you'd be interested in?
Oh geez, I don't know. I think it's all kind of circumstantial. Like obviously I would love to have it be my own stuff and do my own thing.
Right.
But also I'm very much with the mindset of you don't know where life's gonna take you, and I'm open to doing about anything. So if an opportunity comes up where it's like, hey, you're gonna write for someone else, but it's a great opportunity, it makes me happy to do what I'm doing, then I'd be down for it. But I'm kind of the same mindset where it's still I want it to be me. I want to put my own twist on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Touring, you guys. You guys looking at touring? Is that something you'd like to do? Is that something you're going to do? Yeah, Diego wants to do it for sure.
Um, be on the lookout for an announcement.
All right. That's cool. Boy. I like that. I like the sound of that for sure. Yeah, and I would imagine, having a taste of that, especially opening for somebody like Nita Strauss and playing shows like you have in the past, now that it's getting solidified, and you really know the direction you're going in, it's got to be a pretty exciting time to get out there and play for everybody. So
It is.
what's the dream gig?
Oh man, I don't know. I think no, I do know. It's been my dream to open for Iron Maiden for since the minute I started playing. Like, man, it got to a point where I was like checking my email every day, not because I needed to see if I had like any bills or anything. I just wanted to see if Iron Maiden emailed me to come on tour with them.
That is awesome. Diego, is there one for you?
I haven't really thought of that. I guess I haven't thought that far. Right now, my dream gig is to be able to just gig consistently and just be happy while doing it, but also, be able to pay my bills. But I guess if there was any dream gig, oh, geez,
Came for Iron
Guns N'
Maiden.
Roses. Oh, Iron Maiden, yeah, but Guns N' Roses, like that's very sentimental to me because that was like my first rock band.
Mhm.
So if it was just like, I'm backstage and Slash walks by, it's like, oh, okay, well, I made it.
Yeah. Well, my jacket's right here. I'll have to show you my choice. This is the back of my jacket. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
I can tell you're a Judas Priest fan.
yeah. I'm all about Priest and Maiden and Sabbath. That's the holy trinity for me. So, but so many things, and and with your music, like you said, you went in and did those 3 songs. They're 3 totally different songs. I love that. I love that. I love hearing those different things come out. And man, I look forward to what you guys have in store for sure. At any idea when? I mean, we're gonna get the Halloween song.
Mhm.
The next single, that last one from the Troy sessions there. Any idea when we might hear that one?
Maybe early 2022. It depends on if we do. So we're gonna do one more single probably before the album. So it's either gonna be that one and then this new single that we just wrote that'll be on the album, or it'll be the other way around. We're not sure yet.
All right. I'll be looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah.
You guys are the best. Thanks so much for hanging with me, and let's do it again. Let's do it again when
Yeah, absolutely.
you guys are on the road, and you can tell me all about it.
Yeah, this was fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Abby, Diego, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.